Deep for the Southlake Carroll Dragons to return the opening kickoff, Trey Solari, and he'll be joined by Aaron Luna. A couple of other deep men will be back, including Chase Daniel, and also one of the up men, Tyler Flynn, as Nathan Farley gets prepared to boot the football away on your Cable One kickoff. Our officiating crew tonight out of the Dallas chapter, our referee Roy Kimberlin, our umpire Jerry Stefferman, and our head linesman Bob Frazier, line judge Roy Gaskell, and the back judge Howard Shearer. As we get ready for the Cable One kickoff, we'll give you the Institute for Athletic Performance starting lineup momentarily for the Southlake Carroll Dragons and the Yellow Jackets defensively. Farley awaiting the signal. Good crowd, an absolutely spectacular fall evening. I guess we can call it a fall evening. I think fall officially begins Sunday, but might as well be fall because it's going to go down into the 50s again tonight.
Tell you what, you couldn't get much more beautiful than what it was today and what it is now.
Farley preparing for your Cable One kickoff. The home crowd coming to its feet, and we're about ready to begin week 4 of competition. The squib kick is going to be taken by Solari. He's going to pick it up around the 18. Gets a seam, 30, and he's hit at the 35 and hammered to the turf at the 36-yard line.
He was hit by Anthony Hines, really busted him, but didn't wrap up, so he got about 2 or 3 more yards.
Your IAP starting lineup tonight across the front will be Malcolm Allen, Vincent Rhodes, Brent Lemons, and Anthony Hines. The defensive end, Brandon Hubert, along with Chris Hackworth, Raymond Smith, and Brent Hubert. The backers tonight, Marcus Davis back from the injury as the left corner, and Ronnie Powell back as the right corner. Again, the Institute for Athletic Performance is the exclusive provider for the strength, conditioning, and speed development programs of your Denison Yellow Jackets. No huddle offense, and it will be Chase Wassam, the senior quarterback, with a 4-receiver set, one man in the backfield flanking him on 1st and 10, just underway. Watson back to pass. Pressure comes from the Yellow Jackets, sets the screen up. It's caught, and it's going to be across the 40, near the 48-yard line. That's a first down. Aaron Luna out of the backfield, the sophomore tailback, or running back, I should say, got the screen and picked up 12 yards. Chris Hackworth on the stop. Giving pressure for the Yellow Jackets, Malcolm Allen, and really when you run unmolested toward the quarterback, you kind of got to go, uh-oh.
Yeah, we've seen that play a lot. That's the same play that Denison runs to Corey Robertson.
4 receivers set, 2 to either side. Luna in the backfield, flanking Wasson. Yellow Jackets showing blitz on first down. This is Wasson. He's hit in the backfield and goes down for a loss. About 6 yards on the sack. A swarm of Yellow Jackets.
Malcolm Allen was right there. Anthony Hines, both defensive ends, were right there to combine on the sack of Chase Wassam.
Yellow Jackets doing pretty good in the sack department on the year. Denison, 4 sacks in just 3 contests, 32 yards, and they've been close about a half dozen other times, including several last week. That will set up 2nd down and 15. After the 5-yard loss, the ball back to the Carroll 43-yard line. Watson looks over to the sideline to Coach Todd Dodge, and he will check at the line of scrimmage. A 4-receiver set, 2nd and 15, no score, just underway on Katy Country. Back to pass is Wasson. Denison trying to give pressure, now flushed out of the pocket. Wasson on the run, throws, it's complete downfield to the 50, and upended immediately. The ball may be loose, and Denison says they've got it, they do! Yellow Jacket fumble, and there's one of your keys, Monty Walker. Win the turnover battle, and Denison gets the first blow.
Malcolm Allen coming out of that pile. I don't know if he's the man that came out with the ball or not, but somebody laid a big pop on him here on the near sideline. It was right in front of the Denison bench, and then everybody rose up and went kind of nuts over there on that bench.
Our Bratcher Funeral Home man saw everybody going nuts, nearly got run over. Jason, the Jackets pretty pumped up. They think they can win, and they're showing the Carroll Dragons, at least on drive number 1, they can.
They really are playing some great ball, and I'll give you a defensive secret from the Jackets here in just a few moments.
We'll give you the IAP starting lineup for the Yellow Jackets offensively. Of course, Corey Robertson dotting the I behind Scooter Means. This is Crawley. This is a play action. Wants to throw, and he throws, short hops it. It would have been close to the first down, but it's incomplete. The intended receiver for the Yellow Jackets was Jeremy Kimbrell. The Yellow Jackets starting offensive lineup, your Institute for Athletic Performance starting lineup. Nathan Breedlove, Thomas Hayes, Shane Stone, Gary Wetz, and Robbie Thomas up front. This will be Will Crawley getting the start at quarterback, Josh Vaughn, the tight end, along with Vincent Rhodes. And as you heard, Scooter Means, the fullback, and Corey Robertson, the tailback, and Christian Brown for the Yellow Jackets, and also Jerry Jones, the wideout. So your IAP starting lineup. 2nd down and 10. This is a deep handoff. Corey Robertson tripped up the line, falls forward. A 2-yard gain sets up 3rd down and long for the Yellow Jackets. On the year, Denison in third down conversions. They improved it a lot last week, Monty. 14 of 34 for the year. That's a .412 percentage.
Well, Robertson really hitting the hole very hard that time, running full speed when he got the football, but there was just a bunch of white jerseys and wasn't able to go anywhere.
9 men in the box for the Carroll Dragons. They certainly are expecting Denison to run. Two tight set, high formation on 3rd and 8. Flags fly before this one can get underway. And I believe the Yellow Jackets guilty of too much time. Don't forget the Institute for Athletic Performance, your sponsor for the starting lineup. And again, IAP is the exclusive provider of the strength conditioning and speed.
Five-yard mark off on the Yellow Jackets. 3rd down, 13.
Illegal substitution, the call, and that's a 5-yard mark-off. Sets up 3rd down and 13 from the Denison 43. Crawley with 3 receivers set to the right. Robertson, the lone man of the backfield. Deep handoff. Robertson trying to follow, blocking to the right side. Nowhere to go as a man, the defensive end for the Carroll Dragons, fought his block off. I believe that was Jake Benna, and he was right there to greet Mr. Robertson.
Yeah, Jake Benoit, I believe is how you pronounce that. He is 6'3" and 220 pounds, and he is just a hoss out there on defense. He's already caused havoc on a couple of plays as he was in the face of Will Crawley earlier.
Trey Solari back to return the Jerry Jones punt. Jones on the year, pretty good year punting. 7 punts so far for a 36-yard average. Of course, he booted a 61-yarder earlier this year, and when he's been in range, 2 kicks inside the 20, which is very important. That's a pretty good percentage out of 7 punts to have 2 that are nailed inside the 20.
Here's what we've seen so far. Southlake Carroll putting everybody pretty much in the box, making Denison throw the football. They're going to try to force Denison to beat them through the air.
Carroll Dragons marked for a 5-yard penalty. They'll set up 4th down and 15 from the 41. Jones still back in punt formation. And Solari back to return this kick. No score, 9-10 to go in the first quarter here on Katy Country. The Southlake Carroll Dragons and the Yellow Jackets. Here come the Dragons, and Jones gets away a wobbly kick. Pretty good kick, I think, will be the net result. It'll go out of bounds around the 34 or 35-yard line. Have to wait and see where the official walks it back up the field to. And Jones, with pretty heavy pressure coming, got it all the way to the 30.
Looks like they're going to mark him at about
31-yard line. Yeah, 36, you're right. So the Dragons will start with good field position again after a fumble on the initial possession. The ball will be spotted around the 37-yard line. Nope, they are going to mark it back to the 31. We'll get it right in just a moment. Beautiful full moon rising to our east as fall approaches. Of course, big weekend around the area, lots of festivals, including the Sherman Arts Festival tomorrow, and that's always a popular event. 1st and 10 for the Dragons. Wasson wants to throw, got his man Solari. He gets a block out to the 35 and tackled immediately around the 36-yard line. The Jackets, good pursuit, but what sprung that was a key block on the corner. It was just a little inside slant pass, and Solari came around the edge of the backfield, and he got a key block on the corner, almost a pick.
And that's what they do the best. They run those little 5-yard outs and 5-yard ends, and they just they hammer you to death with those little quick passes.
It is precision passing. That's what the Carroll Dragons do. Raymond Smith, by the way, on the stop for the Yellow Jackets. Of course, Raymond Smith, the leading tackler for Denison with 21 total coming into the contest tonight. Make it 22 now. Watson back to pass, ball batted up in the air at the line. Vincent Rhodes got the big paw up, and it's incomplete.
Yeah, he got that huge paw up. I think that's the one with the big cast on his right arm.
The faux cast?
He has that thing taped every week. Got his big arm up there, knocked the ball down, or knocked the ball up in the air. I thought it could have been picked off around midfield, as I believe Christian Brown was out there. It might have been Marcus Davis.
I'm not sure that Christian Brown ever saw the ball because I think he could have made a play on it. It sets up 3rd down and 4 at the 37-yard line for Wasson and the Carroll Dragons. 4 receivers set, 3 to the near side, left to right for the Dragons, 1 to the far. And this is going to be Wasson running the option. He'll tuck it up and run for the first down. He's met, and it's going to be second effort if he got it. The Yellow Jackets stuck their nose up in the hole, and if Wasson got it, it's going to be second effort. I think he may have it by the nose of the football.
Corey Robertson was the man coming up to make the tackle.
Boy, did he stick the helmet up in there.
Boy, he did. They're going to mark it down about the 42, in between the 41 and 42, and they're going to mark it a first down.
Well, the Carroll Dragons are going to move the football at times tonight, and Denison's going to have to be patient defensively, and you just have to stop them before they get into the end zone. They do have a solid kicking game. We'll see if that comes into play. New set of downs for the Dragons. Watson back to pass. Denison showing blitz. Watson downfield. It's caught, and this is Solari inside the 30-yard line, tackled at the 21.
Corey Robertson making the tackle. That was probably the deepest ball. That is the deepest ball that we've seen so far from Watson, as he hit just a streaking receiver right over the middle of the field.
Certainly not the longest of the year. That's a 69-yarder last week by Wichita Falls Ryder, but that's the post pattern. As Todd Dodge said, enough of the short stuff, and he threw it downfield. First and 10 from the Yellow Jacket 21-yard line. Watson with a man flanking him. He wants to throw, and he'll throw it out in the flats. Flag on the play. It's probably going to be pass interference against the Yellow Jackets.
Yeah, it was a quick out pattern. Ronnie Powell coming back, playing cornerback with the separated shoulder. Of course, he was out the past 2 weeks. Got there a little bit early on the receiver.
Of course, you're going to have to take some chances at the corner spot tonight. The real key is to take chances that are not going to burn you, because a lot of times when a corner takes a chance, if he doesn't make the play, the guy's gone. And really, in that case right there, if Powell doesn't stop him, I think it was Solari again. He had a step on Powell, and if he catches that ball in stride and turns the corner, could have been 6 points for the Carroll Dragons. 7:34 to go. Automatic first at the 17, first and 10. Casey Wasson, the quarterback, checking at the line. He's got a 4-receiver set. Denison backing out of the blitz, flag on the play, and somebody might have jumped for the Carroll Dragons.
Yeah, I believe that's going to be the offensive lineman over there. The left tackle, Adam Ulatowski. Trying to say that 3 times. He's a junior, and he is 6'3" and 235. He's a pretty big guy.
We'll check in with our Bratcher Funeral Home sideline man momentarily. The Jackets digging their heels in for what they hope will be a defensive stand against the Dragons. Denison's are defensively in the red zone. 7 opportunities for their opponents. Unfortunately, 5 touchdowns on the year. Denison will try to improve on that red zone percentage. The Jackets with a 4-man front. This is Watson back to pass. Now pressure comes, and this is going to be Malcolm Allen chasing him to the sideline. Throws on the run, throws it out of bounds to unload the football. No one near where the ball was unloaded. He was just simply getting rid of the football to avoid the sack.
A lot of pressure. Raymond Smith also coming over there with Allen, both of them giving chase. And that's another key that we didn't talk about. Pressure the quarterback, because they are going to be throwing and running a lot, running out of the pocket, and you're going to have to stop that.
Definitely going to be a key tonight. Of course, there's a lot of keys for the Yellow Jackets, but that's going to be one of them. And so far, they have been able to get some pressure on Wasson. Second down at 15, the ball at the 22. Wasson back in the standard shotgun. 4-receiver set, and he is going to hand it off to his inside tailback, and that back is going to surge forward. Luna is going to get about 5 yards on the carry, so back to the original line of scrimmage, where it will set up 3rd and 10. 7:15 to go in the first quarter. No score here on Katy Country. Lynn Burkhead and Monty Walker.
Aaron Luna, the sophomore tailback for Carroll, is 5'9", 150. He runs a 4.5, pretty quick back there, kind of like a little scat back, if you will.
Sherman Bearcats tonight trying to go 3-0. They're facing the Lancaster Tigers on our sister station. We'll try to keep you updated on that score. This is 3rd down and 9.5. Watson back to pass from the shotgun. Steps up in the pocket, throws to the end zone, and there's nobody there. Not sure where that ball was intended to go because it was way out of bounds, and it will set up a field goal opportunity, and that's good news. Denison's defense is held.
The bad news is they got a kicker named Garrett Hartley who was kicking about 60 yards at pregame, and this is, of course, the same high school that Houston Texans kicker Chris Brown was at a few years ago before he went to the University of Nebraska, so they have a tradition here of kickers.
Oh, you mean the best pro football team in Texas? Well, maybe in week 1 that was.
Easy.
It is going to be Hartley to kick, Andrew Hansen to hold, and Todd Salazar to snap. A 33-yard attempt for Hartley. And Salazar ready to snap it back to Hansen. On 4th and 9, good snap, good hold, and Hartley's kick has plenty of leg if it's true. And it is. Timeout on the field, 6:39 to go in the first quarter. The Jackets with a moral victory defensively hold the Carroll Dragons to a field goal, 3-0. The Carroll Dragons lead Denison. Back in a moment with more Denison Yellow Jacket football. A 33-yarder by Hartley as we get ready for the Cable One kickoff. Back deep for the Yellow Jackets, Hines, Robertson, and Jackson. Don't know if Mr. Hartley's going to be foolish enough to kick it to the center guy back there. Yeah, he is. Of course, he's got quite a leg. It's going to go out of the end zone. Actually, it's going to be received in the end zone by Jackson. And Howard Jackson's going to go to the knee, 7 yards deep in the end zone, and Denison comes out 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line. Let's check down with our Bratcher Funeral Home man, Mr. Jason Smith. And Jason, looks like Coach Taurus Rucker on the sidelines really exhorting the defensive troops. I think he's telling them a pretty good job, guys. You didn't let them get behind you except that one time. Held them to a field goal. If we can do that, the rest of the night might work out.
Yeah, well, you took everything I was going to say right there, Lynn. But they.
I'm trying to help you. You got the allergies.
I do have a key for you on defense here in a moment, though.
Jackets come to the line. We'll check back with Jason momentarily. Crawley with Robertson, the lone man in the backfield. Scooter Means in the slot position. A man in motion. That's Josh Vaughn on 1st and 10. This is a toss. Robertson, Vaughn, great block on the corner. Robertson, 20, trying to get outside to the 23-yard line. Hit out of bounds. Could have been a late flag. The official says no. All right, Jason, your defensive key.
On defense, Coach Brown was telling me yesterday that the offensive coordinator of Carroll calls the plays from the booth according to what defense is lined up on the field, relays that to the sideline, and then that is relayed out to the players on the field. If you'll notice, the Jackets are changing their defensive sets just before the snap.
Not much gets by Coach Bob Brown, does it?
No, it doesn't.
I think that's why he's won nearly 200 football games in his career. 2nd down and 6.5, maybe 7 for the Yellow Jackets. Again, Josh Vaughn in motion. Crawley is going to toss it to Robertson. Robertson looking for the block, turns it up in the hole and spins forward to the 26-yard line. Again, 8 yards in the box, and at some point, number 16 for the Jackets probably going to have to be successful throwing the ball downfield.
Well, that's what they're going to try to force Denison to do. Of course, Bob Brown saying we want to do it our way, and this is the way we run our offense, and we'll do it my way. But eventually, if you've got 8, 9 guys in the box on every play, you're going to have to run those little quick out patterns at some point.
Jerry Jones to the near side, Vaughn and Christian Brown to the far side. Scooter Means in the slot, 3rd down for Denison. Crawley tries to set the screen up to Robertson. He's got room to run. 25, out to the 30, 1st down for Denison, and out of bounds at the 32-yard line.
Great play call, just sent Robertson out in the flats on a little screen pass, and he had tons of green to run and picks up the 1st down as he crosses about the 31 to the 32-yard line.
You know, this is going to be very good preparation for Denison down the road. A couple of teams in District 11-4A, including one just to the south of here, run a very similar offense. So the Jackets certainly going to gain some experience tonight in stopping this West Coast style of offense. And the way they're playing right now, at least in the first quarter, they're also going to gain a good measure of confidence. 1st and 10 for Denison, their first down of the night. Play action, Crawley wants to throws, and that's got to be pass interference. There it is. The receiver, defensive back, Chase Hargis, over the back of the Yellow Jacket intended wideout, and for Denison, that was Roger Grant, who had run the curl pattern, and that was pretty obvious.
Yeah, it was very obvious. There was actually 2 Dragons right on top of Roger Grant as he went up for the ball. It was a good pass. Crawley had it right on the money, but there's nothing you can do with it when you got a guy hanging off your shoulders.
Well, 2 flags flew. That's it's going to be a 9-yard penalty, and it's going to be a 1st down for the Yellow Jackets. So the second 1st down of the night. 5:41 to go in the first quarter here on 93.1 FM KMKT. Lynn Burkhead, Monty Walker, Mr. John Jacob Joseph, our spotter, Kevin Farr, the Wizard, our statistician and producer, and our Bratcher Funeral Home man himself on the sidelines, Jason Smith. 3-0, the Carroll Dragons in the lead. The ball out to the 41 after the penalty. Straight I formation, 2 tight set. Christian Brown in motion. This is Will Crawley. He will turn, hands it off Robertson, and he will jitterbug his way up the field. Not much running room so far for Corey Robertson, and it'll be a pickup of about 2 yards on the carry, 2nd and 8.
Well, they must have been watching the film from last week and did not watch the film from Carroll, as they are just loading everybody up in the box, and they're not going to let Robertson beat them tonight.
Tyler Flint on the stop for the Carroll Dragons, 2nd and 8. Clock rolling at 5:15 and counting in the first. 3-0 Southlake Carroll in the lead over the Yellow Jackets. A beautiful fall evening here at Munson Stadium. Thank you for spending your evening with us. Quick 2-step drop by Crawley. Throws complete to Jerry Jones. goes to the knee at the 47 or 48-yard line. Going to be about 3 yards shy of the first down. If he didn't have to go to the knee, I think he might have picked the first up. It's going to be third and short.
Another one of those good catches from Jerry Jones, as he had to go down in the catcher stance, a lot like last week he made one of those catches, as he just simply had to go down a little bit, catch it about his knees, and when he did, he got blasted.
Pretty good job that time by Crawley. The quick two-step drop doesn't give a quarterback much time to set.
You know, Jerry Jones is your go-to guy. 7 catches, 81 yards coming into the game.
He comes to the near side. Christian Brown far side. Josh Vaughn in motion. Means and Robertson in the backfield. Third and short. Robertson with the call. He gets the toss. Stiff arms his way to the 40, but he can't outrun 4 Carroll Dragons, who chase him out of bounds for a 2-yard loss. And the Yellow Jackets will apparently have to punt the football away. You know, sometimes when you do a steady diet like the Yellow Jackets are doing right now running the football, I get the impression that Bob Brown is feeling out the defense and they're thinking about setting some things up in the second, third, and fourth quarter. We'll see. Jerry Jones in punt formation. Solari back to return the punt, standing around the 20-yard line. Score update, Sherman leading Lancaster 7-0 in the first quarter. Our score here, Carroll 3 and the Yellow Jackets nothing. Jones standing at his 30. And he'll punt for the second time tonight. A little pressure, and he got it away. A beautiful kick. Solari having to backpedal to the 16. Catches it. There is going to be a swarm of Yellow Jackets. He got by them. Look out. 30, 35. Solari to the 40. Down the sideline to the 50. To the 40. Solari in a foot race, and he's going to be stopped or step on the out-of-bounds marker at the 28-yard line. Denison had him bottled up inside the 20. 3 Yellow Jackets had a shot. Couldn't make him go down, and he turned the burners on.
Well, he made a move on Anthony Waddles at about the 25-yard line. Looked like he was going to go right. Saw Waddles and went left. Kind of faked Waddles out. And then he had lots of running room down the far sideline, moving left to right on the radio dial. And that sets him up in great shape at the 27-yard line.
Coming to the near sideline, Andrew Hansen and Solari, who's trying to catch his breath. And the other wideouts, Scott Chandler and Chase Daniel. A net of minus 16. That's not going to help the stat department for the punter, Jerry Jones. Wasson back to pass on first down. Pressure, or lots of time, rather. Throws, got a man, Solari. Caught inside the 5-yard line. First and goal at the 3. If Solari stays on his feet, it's an easy touchdown as he beat the Yellow Jacket corner man. And the only thing that kept it from being a touchdown was the fact that Wasson led Solari a little too much, and he had to dive for the football. Carroll quickly to the line. First and goal from the 3-yard line. Denison going to have to dig the heels in here. 3-0 Carroll on top. Wasson, 4 receivers set. Luna in the backfield with him. Wasson calling for the football. Going to hand it off to Luna to the line. He's going to be met at the line. He hands it back to Wasson, the quarterback, and he's tackled at the 5.
It was a keeper. It was a fake up the middle to Luna. It was a great play-action fake. He kept the ball, and he was corralled about the 5-yard line. I think he's going to actually lose about a yard or two.
Vincent Rhodes, the man that led the charge on that Yellow Jacket stop. He fooled me. I thought he did hand it off to Luna.
It was a great fake.
It was. And Luna actually turned around. He got turned around at the line, and it looked like that perhaps he had handed it off. But again, it was just a pure quarterback keeper behind the running back all the way. Second and goal from the 5. Back to pass. Wasson pressure, and he's going down. Sacked at the 9-yard line.
Brandon Hubert coming in from his linebacker position. Looked like he was on a streak or a fire, and came in and sacked the quarterback for a loss of about another 5 yards, or 4, I take it. They're going to put him down about the 8.
So first and goal from the 3 after the big punt return and pass play is now third and goal from the 9. Can Denison deny Todd Dodge and the Dragons again inside the 20-yard line? Wasson looking to the line, checking with his 4 receivers set. Third and goal from the 9. Wasson back to pass, throws it in the end zone. It is going to be a flag and a touchdown perhaps. No indication yet.
That could be offensive pass interference. That's the big 6'6" receiver Chandler out there.
Scott Chandler
went way up for the ball. Ronnie Powell was over in coverage, and Chandler may have done a little pushing and shoving.
Yes, he did. It is going to be offensive pass interference.
They threw the fade route. It was a nice touch pass towards the back of the end zone. Chandler apparently just put his hands on Ronnie Powell and went up and made the catch.
Big Chandler tried to use his size, but first and goal from the 3 is going to be all the way back to the 24-yard line. How about first and goal from the 24, folks? Third and goal, rather. Let's go down to our Bratcher Funeral Home man, Mr. Jason Smith. Jason, can the D do it?
Oh, they can definitely do it, but the thing that you've got to watch here is that big 6'6" receiver, the guy that they went to on the last play. He is their primary receiver when they get inside the red zone. Of course, they're just outside of that right now, but do look to go to him because he has an incredible leaping ability, and with that 6'6" frame, of course, he's got reach on everybody.
Let's talk about Wasson just a little bit. He's only 5'11", not a prototype D1 type of quarterback like his predecessor was, but he can get the job done even at 5'11".
3rd and goal from the 24. Here comes pressure. Wasson has to step up. He's flushed out of the pocket. Vincent Rhodes giving chase. Throws. Solari can't catch it. And Denison is forced. 4th down and goal from the 23-yard line.
Well, Vincent Rhodes talking some noise on the near sideline to all his Jacket friends. Telling you what, these Jacket defensive players are pumped up.
There is a penalty marker lying at the line of scrimmage, and it could, I think, go against the Dragons again. I believe that is going to be illegal man downfield. Is that the indication?
Yeah, I believe it is. Illegal man downfield. One of the linemen apparently...
That's a loss of down, isn't it?
One of the linemen apparently went down the field thinking Wasson would tuck it and run.
This will be spotted at the 29. It will be a 33-yard effort.
For Hartley, that was his first field goal a moment ago. This is his 2nd field goal attempt of the season.
39-yard attempt, and the snap is down, and he's got plenty of leg if it's true. And it is. For the 2nd time tonight, the Yellow Jackets get the moral victory. Still trail 6-0, but twice inside the red zone, the Carroll Dragon offense has to settle for 3. Back in a moment with more Denison High School football. 6-0, the Carroll Dragon lead, and the Dragons scratching their heads going, what's going on here? We're not used to having to settle for field goals.
Well, they're kind of shooting themselves in the foot a little bit, making those errors, jumping off sides and doing some things like that. And the big penalty was the one in the end zone on Chandler.
Hartley is going to approach the football, is going to spin it, and this is going to be a kick that's going to go out of bounds. Delay of game, flag thrown. And the Yellow Jackets will probably make them kick it again and try to give one of their speedy return guys an opportunity to return this kick. Let's check in with our Bratcher Funeral Home man on the sidelines, Jason Smith. And Jason, one of the things that the Jackets, you can almost sense, they're gaining in confidence right now.
They really are. They think that they can shock the world tonight. A lot of the guys just tell them, hey, we're going to win this game. I mean, it's a matter of fact, like Shane Stone was talking about in pregame during the senior spotlight. These guys, there's nothing at all that they know of that can keep them from winning this game, and they're really playing like that right now.
Well, the Jackets have played well defensively so far. The one big play, perhaps, tonight, the lone fly in the ointment for Denison offense or defensively. Otherwise, they've played a pretty tight game, and they've gotten a lot of pressure on Wasson.
As Yogi Berra would say, this game is 90% mental. The other half is physical.
Yes, indeed. He would, in fact, say that, wouldn't he? Or would he not? 7-0, the last update we have. Sherman leading Lancaster. That in the first. Home crowd rallying behind the Jackets. Hartley going to bang it, and he's going to boot it right to Robertson. Corey's going to get it 4 yards deep. He comes out, up to the 5, to the 10. Trying to find a seam, out to the 15, tries to break a tackle, look out, 25 to the 30, one man brought him down at the 36, or he could have been going to Bader.
Oh my goodness, what moves by this young man, Corey Robertson. They ran the straight wedge right up the middle of the field. Robertson was picking his holes and made 2 or 3 nifty moves, broke a tackle and made it all the way up to the 35-yard line. That is the best 35-yard kickoff return I've ever seen.
1st and 10 for the Jackets now. The silence broken by the whistles. And, again, we do want to emphasize Scooter Means, after that very scary moment, got up under his own power, walked off unassisted off the field. So not sure what it was that was distressing him and caused quite a bit of consternation among the coaches and paramedics. But he appears at least to be okay at this point.
Yeah, that's a good thing to see. But the Jackets, the bad thing to see is they have a legal procedure penalty just called on them. That's going to be marked back at the 29. So it sets up a 1st and 15. I guess about the 30, what they're going to call it.
Denison with a 2 tight set. They'll bring Jerry Jones to the near side. Actually, that's Roger Grant. He'll go in motion. I formation with Robertson in the backfield. This is Will Crawley back to pass. Throws and incomplete. He had Josh Vaughn open in the flats, but he just short-hopped it in there. He had to get rid of the football a little quicker than he wanted to, it looked like to me.
Yeah, a lot of pressure coming from right up the gut. Crawley just threw the pass just a little bit short, kind of one hop to him. Looked like a third baseman, Vaughn, trying to pick it up.
2nd and 15, the ball at the 30. 6-0, Carroll in the lead. We are still in the first quarter, if you can believe that. 2 minutes and 3 seconds to go here on Katy Country. I formation again, a two-tight set. Vaughn on one side, Mahana on the other, and this will be Christian Brown in motion. And it is going to be Crawley on the quarterback keeper, tries to find a seam, lowers the head around the 30 and plows up to the 32-yard line. Got about 3 yards on the carry.
Number 59,
Yeah, it was Aaron Morgan, the guy who finally brought down Crawley. I'm not sure Crawley didn't bring him down. Crawley lowered the boom on him and got up to the 32-yard line. They're going to mark it at the 33.
Well, you know, it's pretty hard when you have such a frightening moment to you kind of lose your breath for a moment as a team, and it's kind of hard to come right back and get back into the competitive flow of things.
There's a big play here, 3rd down and long. Let's see if the Jackets want to air it out here.
1 for 3 in 3rd down conversions. 4 receivers set. Crawley, all kinds of pressure, and he's not going to be able to unload the football. Sacked in the backfield for a loss back to the 25-yard line. Let's check down with our Bratcher Funeral Home man. Jason talked a little bit about it. It's kind of hard to get it going again after such a frightening moment, and I think the advantage goes to the defense in such a case.
It really does. It is tough for the offense to keep that momentum going as you would, and I just talked to Scooter Means' father, David. He informed me that we don't know the exact cause or nature of the injury, but Doc says that Scooter will not be back in the game tonight.
So the standout sophomore fullback for the Jackets, Scooter Means, out for the evening. Looks like, again, we want to emphasize that he walked off under his own power with no assistance and appeared, at least from that vantage point, to be okay. This is Jones punting the football, had to hurry to get it away. It is a short kick. This is going to spin, takes a bad bounce for Denison, and it is not good news for the Jackets right now. Jones, only a 16-yard punt. He almost had it blocked.
Yeah, he did. Raymond Smith finally kills it at the 45 in Jacket territory, so Southlake only has 45 yards to go to pay dirt.
Well, they've been a lot closer than that and have been unable to get it in the end zone, but at some point you've still got to start doing something other than allowing field goals. 29 seconds to go in the first quarter. Denison's defense really has been the story of the game so far. They have stopped the Carroll Dragons twice in the red zone, including one time 1st and goal from the 3, and held them to 2 field goals. 1st and 10 from the 45 of the Jackets. Wasson, the quarterback, in the shotgun, wants to pass. He'll throw, and it's almost picked off. It's going to be complete instead to Chandler, and he goes out of bounds at the 35. The Yellow Jackets had a linebacker floating out there in coverage, and he almost skied high enough to pick that one off.
Yeah, Scott Chandler is the guy who was sky high because he's 6'6", 205 pounds. Not the fastest guy in the world, but he still runs a 4.7, which isn't bad.
Yeah, these guys are not world beaters. They're not like a Denton Ryan or an Ennis, but a very good football team that thinks they can go pretty good ways in the 5A playoffs. This is Watson back to pass on 1st down. Now pressure comes. He has to flush out of the pocket to the right. Throws on the run, looking downfield. It's tipped and still nearly caught, but falls incomplete.
Oh, what a great defensive play by Marcus Davis, the cornerback, running over to the near side about the 10-yard line, jumped up, made like a Superman dive, and swatted the ball away. Great job by Davis.
Well, the defense, again, playing fairly well against this vaunted Carroll offense. Remember, Carroll was averaging a touchdown and 100 yards passing in a quarter. Now, they're going to be close to those numbers again, but they had to earn them the hard way. They had to earn them through 2 field goals and one long pass play. Otherwise, they would be well below their average. Waston's going to throw it out in the flat. This is going to be Daniel caught and dropped. Flag on the play. I'm afraid that's going to be a face mask against the Jackets.
Well, there were 3 Jackets right over there to make the stop. Malcolm Allen was the guy who was the first one there, and he might be the guy who's charged for face mask.
Holding.
Ah.
Anthony Hines shaking his head at me, kind of like he could hear me, and said, going the other way, and the official said holding Southlake Carroll. So with 7 seconds to go, I still say that maybe the numbers are pretty close to what they have been throughout the season so far, but they've had to earn them the hard way.
I'll tell you what, if you told Bob Brown it would be 6-0 at the end of the first quarter, he would be very happy with that.
I think so. 7 seconds to go. The mark-off against the Dragons, a big one. It's going to take them back almost to the original line of scrimmage, all the way out to the 44-yard line. And it will set up 2nd down and 20 on what will most likely be the final play of the first quarter. So again, the Jackets have bent at times defensively, but they have not broken yet, at least in regards to giving up a touchdown, and the Carroll Dragons have shot themselves in the foot several times with turnovers and penalties, and it's a 6-0 Dragon lead as Wasson calls for the football. Hands it off Luna inside, and he is going to be tackled around the line of scrimmage.
It was Brandon Hubert, the guy who drug him down, the linebacker. Those Hubert brothers are really playing nicely at the outside backer positions.
Yes, they are. It's a 10-yard gain. It'll set up 3rd and 10 as we go to the second quarter. 6-0. The Carroll Dragons leading the Yellow Jackets, but Denison hanging tough. Back in a moment with the second quarter of action from Munson Stadium. It will be a very key 3rd down and 8 from the Yellow Jacket 32 for Casey Wasson, the quarterback. 4 receivers set. He's back to pass. 3rd down, some pressure in his face. Now he's going to flush and run. Pumps, trying to find a man. He's going to throw toward the end zone, and Solari caught it, and he's got the Dragons' first touchdown.
Well, I was about to say he could have ran all day long for the first down, but that's why you don't.
Well, you got to give credit to the receiving corps for the Dragons. The Yellow Jackets were holding them at bay for almost 10 seconds, and that's an eternity on a pass pattern. But Wasson just kept floating, and he had no pressure in his face. And he was finally able to wait for Solari to clear, and when he did, it was no contest for the touchdown. And the Carroll Dragons want a timeout. They're going to talk about going for 2. Well, the key now for the Yellow Jackets is that they've got to get something established offensively, or the Carroll Dragons, no matter how well the defense is playing, are just going to continue to wear down Denison. And the Dragons are, in fact, going to go for 2 here as Wasson stands in the shotgun. 2-point conversion attempt. He's going to throw the hot route in the right quickly inside, and it's going to be incomplete. So the 2-point conversion attempt falls short. And the Carroll Dragons take a 12-0 lead. We'll take a timeout. 11:50 to go in the half. 12-0. The Carroll Dragons in the lead on 93.1 FM. Stay tuned. Denison Yellow Jacket football continues after this timeout. Hartley approaching the ball, and he's going to bang it, and it's going to go back to Howard Jackson, 5 yards deep in the end zone, goes to the knee and says, nope, not going to try that. And Denison starts 1st and 10 for the 20. Well, the number that has got to change, gentlemen, is 8. That's how many yards of offense Denison has, and if they're going to have a chance to win this game.
Yeah, 8 men is also how many people they have in the box. That's going to have to change too, and the only way you can change that is by throwing it down the field and making them spread that defense out a little bit as well.
We'll get an update on Will Crawley's passing numbers, and they're not much at this point, but it is 2 for 4, 10 yards, and that's just simply not going to back the Dragons up. They've only got 1 man on the corner and everybody else up tight. This is a toss Robertson, and he's trying to break the line of scrimmage and did a pretty good job. There's not much daylight. Got 3 or 4 yards running inside before the stop was made by the Dragons swarm, and leading the charge, Christian Merritt. But actually they're going to give him 4 yards, nearly 5, so pretty good carry.
We've talked about this, lots of momentum when he hits the hole so hard like that. He takes the ball in full speed, and you just can't help to get 4 yards.
Jackets facing 2nd and 6 from their own 24, 12-0. The Dragons in the lead, 11-11 to go in the half here on Katy Country. This is going to be a handoff. Robertson breaks the line of scrimmage. He's to the, oh my goodness. He was to the 30 and his feet got tripped, or he was gone. Yeah. I thought we were going to call the first lengthy Robertson touchdown of the year, and it was literally the shoestring tackle.
Yeah, it was. It was Christian Merritt that came over to make the tackle on Robertson. He had lots of room to run over there and thought it was going to be a long touchdown run.
He had the rest of Munson Stadium to run.
Yeah, he did. He would have been down there with the drill team.
Might have run over John Jacobs' girlfriend down there. This is going to be it's going to be Crawley back to pass, throws. Jerry Jones went up in traffic, nearly pulled down a spectacular grab, but it's incomplete. It, I think, actually bounced off the helmet of Chase Hargis, who was running in pursuit.
I don't know. It was a great defensive play by the defender. Hargis was right there with Jerry Jones right at the 45-yard line in Southlake territory. Jones went up for the ball. Both of them did at the same time. And the ball simply just went off his shoulder pad.
I will give Will Crawley a little credit. He stepped up and delivered a rope downfield on that one.
That was a great pass.
It was right on the money. The coverage was just a step better. 2nd and 10, I formation Two receivers set, and Crawley is going to drop back to pass. Here comes pressure. Tries to set the screen up. It is incomplete.
Pass intended for number 42.
He was trying to set the screen up to Robertson. The only thing is he had lots of pressure in his face. Crawley did. Nathan Breedlove allowed the big defensive end to go right by him. That was Jake Benoit, the senior, the 6'3", 220-pound defensive end who's getting a lot of state recognition as being the man over there on defensive end. And he just basically went around Breedlove to put pressure on Crawley.
Well, he certainly was the man that time. He roared in untouched, and Crawley just doing a very fine job of even unloading the football. One man Robertson behind Crawley on 3rd and 10, and this is going to be a toss out to Robertson. Tries to get a block on the corner, 25. Still looking for a block, still going, and unfortunately, a bunch of Dragons are going to breathe some fire and knock him down before he can get the first down.
Yeah, but it takes all 11 Dragons to bring him down. If you'll look, and I guess that's one plus for the Dragons because they all are swarming to the football, but that's how many it took to get Robertson down.
Well, no yards on the play despite all of the heroics by Corey Robertson. He did a lot to get nothing. And Jerry Jones has had a tough time punting tonight, and he's going to be called on once again. And last two kicks, actually 16 yards both times. This is going to be the 4th punt of the night for Jones as Solari stands at the 35. Jones at his 18. 12-0, the Dragons leading the Yellow Jackets, and Jones gets it. And he gets a pretty good, this is a great kick. He's redeemed himself here. He's driving Solari way back, takes a Denison roll to the 15-yard line.
Well, for the first time, we'll see Southlake Carroll backed up on their own end of the field.
Boy, he got all of that one, but wait a minute. Hey, there's a penalty marker, and Jones is limping. Let's check down with our Bratcher Funeral Home man. Might have been roughing the kicker there.
Guys, it may have been, but when that punt took off like a rocket, I was just watching it and did not keep my eyes back here in the backfield.
I couldn't see it because it was way up there with the moon.
Denison's going to decline it. It is the 5-yard variety of simply running into the kicker, not roughing the kicker. And I can't really tell if Jones is for real limping or if he's just trying to sell the 15-yard penalty there.
Hey, I was an old punter. I know how to do that.
You know, the Emmys are this weekend.
Hey, and let's say hello to all those Hal Bulldog fans that may be listening tonight. Hal's got the week off, so hello to all my old friends there in Hal.
Now, wait a minute. Now Roger Grant's limping on the sidelines.
Maybe it's contagious.
It may be. The Jackets declined the penalty, and they'll back the Dragons up to the 16-yard line. 9:37 to go in the half. 12-0 Dragon lead, 1st and 10. From the 16, their deepest start of the night.
Yeah, it is, and it's nice to see if you're a Jacket fan.
You know, a turnover here, and you could have a 12-7 ball game. So see if the Denison defense can dig their heels in here and get a big stop, a 3-and-out variety, or maybe even the 2nd turnover of the night. Watson in the shotgun. He's going to hand it off to Luna. Luna running to the right side, and he broke a tackle. And, well, it looked like he was going to get maybe a yard, and he got 8.
Yeah, he did. That puts him way out there past the 20-yard line, probably about the 24. Luna, that's really not their offense. They didn't come in rushing the football a whole lot. Matter of fact, he had 12 carries in the first 2 games coming into this football game with 47 yards. Matter of fact, Wassum, the quarterback, was the leading ball carrier with 14 carries.
Jackets showing the 4-man front. This is Luna on the handoff again, and he is going to pick up the first down as he broke 3 tackles at the line of scrimmage. That's not looking good right there. He carried 2 Yellow Jackets downfield and picked up 6 yards. He only needed 3, and it's another first down for the Dragons. And after starting at the 16, Carroll out to the 32. 9 minutes and cranking in the first half, 12-0. The Dragons a touchdown and 2 field goals.
For the Dragons.
That's the ball game right at this point. As Wassum, a pretty average night so far. Nothing spectacular, but enough to get the job done. He is in the shotgun. Luna flanking him. 4 receiver set, calls for the ball on first down. Steps up, throws downfield, and he overthrows a wide open receiver. He had a man that had 2 steps on the defender. That was Chase Daniel, the sophomore wideout. And he just couldn't lay the ball on the numbers.
Yeah, giving chase over there was one of the Hubert boys. I believe that was Brandon, the linebacker out there. That's another thing as far as these matchups. They got 4 wide receivers out in their offense. and the Yellow Jackets are putting 2 corners and 2 outside backers to run against those 2 slot men.
Second down, 10.
Well, Corey Robertson had
For the
checked
Dragons.
out of the ball game, and you see who quickly checks back in because he is the man that comes over the top on that particular pattern.
I'll bet you they know exactly when Robertson is out of the football game, too.
Yes, I think they do. And this is Wassum checking at the line. 3 receivers to the near side, right to left on the radio dial. He's back to pass, looks right, throws. He's got a man streaking down the sideline over the shoulder, catches it complete. Yes.
Oh, what a catch.
What a pass.
That was a great pass, a great catch. Hanson over there on the sideline, he made a wonderful over-the-shoulder Willie Mays type catch. And Andrew Hanson, the senior, hauls it in from Wassum, and what a catch.
It was a great catch on the 30-yard pass completion, and you got to give Todd Dodge credit. They overloaded to the left, 3 receivers, and Denison with most of their defensive help on that side. The safety, Robertson, cheating over to that side, and they go back to the right and man-up coverage. And it was just a perfect pass and a perfect catch. 8:11 to go, and from the 16-yard line, the Carroll Dragons are on the move. This is the throw to Luna at the 40. He's up to the 35, breaks a tackle to the 30, still going to the 25, still going inside the 10, down to the 6-yard line, and it's going to set up first and goal from the 6. And Monty, at this point, I think the defense just starting to wear down for Denison.
Yeah, they might be. That was a 32-yard run by Luna. He came into the ball game with 47 on the year, so he's already jumped past that because I know he has more than 47 tonight.
Yeah, it was actually a completion. It was just a little dump out in the flat, but it looked like a run because he was hanging around the line of scrimmage. Well, there could be a penalty marker laying there because the Dragons are backing up. Let's check down with our Bratcher Funeral Home man, Jason Smith. What's the indication?
They are saying a dead ball personal foul against Denison. I didn't see the flag nor the action, but I guess the official's seen something on the far sideline.
Well, I don't know why the Dragons were backing up initially, but half the distance to the goal line, the ball was going to be at the 7. So now it's going to be first and goal at the 3, and not looking good for the Yellow Jackets. Denison held the Carroll Dragons to 6 points in the first quarter on 2 field goals from Garrett Hartley, but the Dragons getting their act together here in the second quarter. 7:59 to go in the half, 12-0, Denison in the lead. And they're going to mark it down to the 5-yard line as we approach the Grays Credit Jeweler halftime show in a little over 7.5 minutes. Wasson looks to Todd Dodge on the sideline. Luna will flank him. 3 or 4 receivers, 2 to either side. First and goal from the 5. This is Wasson, wants to run the quarterback keeper, breaks a tackle at the line and scoots into the end zone. And the Dragons have broken this one open.
Well, they do like to run that quarterback keeper. He came into the ball game with 14 carries, their leading rusher, and he busts through the line there for a 5-yard touchdown.
Well, we knew the Carroll Dragons were talented, and Denison had some of the things going that they needed to have going in their direction early in this game. The problem is Denison has been unable to muster anything offensively to put some pressure back on Carroll, and it's just been a war of attrition at this point, and the Carroll Dragon offense beginning to wear out the Denison defense. Hartley on for the PAT. Looks like no doubt about that one, and the officials agree. 19-0, the new score. 7:35 to go in the first half as Carroll breaks it open a bit. Back in a moment with more Denison High School football.
The Dragons went 6 plays and 84 yards, took 2 minutes and 2 seconds off the clock, capped off by a 5-yard touchdown by Chase Wassum. We now have a 19-0 score at Munson Stadium. Southlake Carroll on top of Denison with 7:35 left to go before the Grays Credit Jewelers halftime show.
Your Cable One kickoff, Hartley approaching the football, and he's going to bang it. This is going to be a short kick to Howard Jackson, going to take it at the 9-yard line, finds the wedge and tries to go upfield, shakes a tackle and gets out across the 20-yard line when it looked like he was going to be stopped around the 14. Let's check down with our Bratcher Funeral Home man, Jason Smith. And Jason, the Jackets really flying high in the first quarter, and when Scooter Means shaking up a little bit late in the first quarter, Jackets just really have never recovered mentally. They were concerned obviously for their teammate, who appears to be all right at this point. Air got taken out of their sails. What do you think?
Yes.
He's mad at me, I can tell.
Yeah.
19-0 for Todd Dodge and the Carroll Dragons. 7:22 to go in the first half of play.
Life as a color man and a sideline man with Lynn Burkhead.
See if I check down with him again. This is going to be Corey Robertson getting it. Actually, it's going to be Anthony Hines getting it as he
brought down by number 88.
Came over from the left side, and it'll be a short gain. 7:10 to go in the half. 19-zip, the Dragons in the lead.
Jason, really, how is it down there? We'll check down at your funeral home. How is it down there with the mood? Are they still, I know this is a tight bunch of guys.
Right. Well, they had the momentum going their way, and when you have it going so high and then it's so low, just flip-flop, it's really hard to get your emotion back up and get your mind really in the game.
2nd down and 8 for the Carroll Dragons. Denison sends a man in, or 2nd and 8 for the Jackets, and this is a fumble. Robertson trying the reverse to Howard Jackson. It was a botched exchange. It's going to be a big loss, and it's going to set up 3rd down and long. So the wheels starting to come off for the Yellow Jackets here at the end of the first half. And Coach Bob Brown and the Jackets going to go back in the locker room, and I would think he would probably tell them something like this. Okay, look, we knew it was a tall task to try to win this game. We've still got to show some pride here, step up and make some things happen, and improve as a football team.
Yeah, and a 19-0 deficit isn't insurmountable.
Absolutely not.
There is still 6 minutes left to go before the Grace Credit Jewelers halftime show, but I'm telling you, I've seen stranger things happen.
Yes, indeed. And matter of fact, I've seen stranger things happen with the Carroll Dragons on the field. Talk about that in just a moment. This is going to be a handoff inside, a draw, and I think it's Robertson on the carry. He's going to get about 3 yards of tough running inside. 4th down, and Jerry Jones has to come onto the field again. You and I saw Carroll Dragons and the Sherman Bearcats in the playoffs about 4 or 5 years ago, and if my memory serves me correct, it was 35-7 at half in Carroll's favor. And everyone had pretty well left on the Carroll side. They thought this one's in the bag. And believe it or not, Sherman actually took the lead in the second half before, or was driving to take the lead when a turnover snuffed out their rally, and Carroll ended up winning by, I think, 10 points. This is going to be Jones calling for the football, and he's going to get it away, and it's another pretty good kick. It's going to drive Solari back to the 39, gets it, heads to the right. There's a big block, and that's going to spring Solari down the sidelines. That was a huge block on Hackworth.
Hackworth got lit up. That's the big defensive end, Jake Benoit. And I tell you what, he just laid it on Hackworth about midfield.
Hackworth's right now doing what I had to do quite a bit when I played. You have to bounce back up, and even though your body is screaming in pain, you try to pretend that nothing happened.
That happened to you in 7th grade?
Yeah, it really did. Of course, I was playing at a 5A school when you were at a 2A school, so,
hey, that's all right. I played guys like Bam Morris.
Had quite an effect on him. He's now in the penitentiary. I
also played against a guy named
Yellow Jackets, 32-yard line.
there was another running back for Eli Sledge from Pilot Point who's now in prison as well. Not too much luck against those guys.
Well, you had pretty good luck on the gridiron. This is Wasson from the shotgun, 1st and 10 for the Dragons. He steps up, and he's going to be tackled as the Yellow Jacket defender fought his block off, and that might have been Vincent Rhodes fought his man off. Actually, it was Malcolm Allen again. He's had quite a ball game.
Malcolm Allen has really stepped it up this season, come out of nowhere, really. We were wondering last year, or this year, who would fill the shoes of Anthony Washington from a year ago, who had just a stellar performance, and who would fill those shoes, and it looks like 2 combined, Anthony Hines and Malcolm Allen.
Sherman has let Lancaster come back and tie them up 7-all at halftime. On our sister station. We're 4 minutes and 19 seconds from half as Wasson checks Coach Todd Dodge on the sideline for a signal for actually a 5 receiver set on 2nd down and 11 as Carroll leads 19-0 and looking to totally break it open. Wasson all kinds of time, throws downfield for Solari. What a great defensive play. What a great defensive play. Solari paid the price. The ball's incomplete.
Ronnie Powell lit him up down at the 10-yard line. The ball was up in the air. Solari was going up to make the catch, and Powell just lowered the boom, just really nailed him right at the 10. Ball came flying out. Just a great defensive play. That's one thing we've seen from Ronnie Powell so far this year is he isn't afraid to put the pop on somebody.
Not at all. Yellow Jackets have Jeremy Grimes playing the deep safety man right now. Corey Robertson out of the ball game at the moment. And this will be 3rd and 11 from the 33. Wasson back to pass. Pressure coming up in his face. He's going to dump it over the middle to Chandler at the 30. And he's going to be tackled around the 15-yard line. And took 5 Yellow Jackets to bring him down, but they finally do.
He's a big, strong kid, 6'6", and he doesn't have to go too far up to catch the ball. And Raymond Smith is the guy who finally gets credit for the tackle there.
He's about the biggest guy on their offense, other than the right or left tackle rather, and it's more than enough for the first down. As the ball's down to the 18, actually the 17-yard line. 3:45 to go in the half. 19-0. Carroll beginning to pull away from the Yellow Jackets after a very hard-fought first quarter. Wasson in the shotgun. Luna flanks him, and this is Wasson back to pass. Looks left. Now he's being chased. Tries to set it up to Luna, and Luna drops the football. Luna just the safety valve. That was not the true screen. Wasson was flushed out of the pocket, and Luna saw that, alertly broke out into the flat and tried to haul it in, but Denison giving chase, and it's incomplete.
Yeah, as Brent Lemons over there flushing the quarterback out of the pocket, threw it to Luna, and Luna, I think he threw it a little bit too far out in front of him, though. He didn't really have a chance to bring it in.
Checking into the ball game for the Dragons, Chase Daniel. Stay tuned for the Gray's Credit Jewelers halftime show. Our very own Jason Smith, another exciting halftime extravaganza for you, along with Monty Walker and Kevin Farr. We're 3:27 away from the halftime buzzer, and this is Wasson throwing to the end zone, and it is almost picked off, but falls incomplete. The Yellow Jackets, Marcus Davis, back from the shoulder injury. He almost picked it and was starting back the other way. He just couldn't haul it in. He was in front of Solari.
Well, he had the speed to catch up to the football because the pass was thrown right on the money to Solari. Davis just made up the ground and got in front of the football. I thought he was going to have a pick in the end zone, but he just dropped it, and he was very upset because as soon as he dropped it, he was jumping all around in the end zone.
Yeah, you have to take advantage of those opportunities. Actually, I think it was Andrew Hansen, one of the few times we've called his name tonight, senior receiver, who nearly got his first touchdown of the evening. And this is going to be 3rd down and 10 from the 17. And the Carroll Dragons want to call a timeout. Wasson has had a big first half, and he is going to try to keep it going. Here comes some pressure in his face. He's flushed out of the pocket, being chased from behind, dumps the football, and can you believe it? It's caught for a first down.
Wow. Absolutely incredible. He had all the pressure on him from behind.
He was running for his life.
Anthony Hines was behind him trying to run him down, and he somehow threw the football out in the flats, and it was caught over there. I believe that was Hansen.
Was it Hansen?
I believe it was Hansen who made the catch over there on the far sideline for the first down.
Well, they do spread the wealth around to the receivers, and I'm telling you, folks, watch the Cable One replay Tuesday night, and with 3:13 to go in the half,
the 5-yard line.
Wasson was running for his life, but he still completed the pass. 1st and goal from the 5-yard line. Wasson back to pass, lots of time. Solari, touchdown. Well, it's beginning to get out of hand for the Yellow Jackets at this point.
Touchdown.
As what was a 6-0 Carroll Dragon lead as we started the second quarter has exploded with a 19-point outburst by the Dragons. And, well, the Yellow Jackets going to scratch their heads, go back in the locker room, and try to figure out how to stop this machine here. Garrett Hartley on for the PAT. He has been called upon quite a bit tonight. And with 3:09 to go, he's going to try to make it a 26-0 Carroll lead. And from this vantage point, he has done so, and the officials agree. 26-0, 3:09 to go in the half. Don't go anywhere. We got the Gray's Credit Jeweler halftime show coming up. 3 minutes and 9 seconds until the break. Denison trailing. We're back in a moment with more Yellow Jacket football. Garrett Hartley going to bang it deep, and this is going to be Howard Jackson backpedaling to the end zone, 2 yards deep, looks for the wedge, comes out to the 10, and he's going to see the wedge collapse. He goes down to the 15-yard line. Well, the Jackets have got a lot to talk about at halftime, and we must remember, Monty Walker, that the goal every week in non-district is to get better in preparation for district play. And we knew coming into the season the Yellow Jackets weren't going undefeated. I think we realized that. We were talking coming in, hey, if Denison can go 3-2, we're happy. I mean, they had 2 tough games, Carroll and Terrell. And those 2 games turned out at this point pretty much like we kind of expected they would. Robertson in the backfield, and he's going to get the handoff. Looks for some running room. He's out to the 20. Look out, 25, trying to find a corner to the 30. Stiff arms his way to the 31-yard line, his biggest carry of the night. And the Yellow Jackets had 16 yards of total offense before that carry. And guess what? Robertson just matched it with a 16-yard total. He is not going to get 208-yard rushing per game average that he came into this contest with tonight. You wouldn't think anyway, unless he really gets some big runs in the second half.
Two receivers now to the right side for the Jackets.
1st and 10 from the 31, 2:48 to go in the half. And this is a reverse. Actually, it's I think the little fullback trap, and it doesn't go anywhere.
A little counter trap from the Jackets, and Mario Polk's going to take the handoff. And he had nowhere to go. Matter of fact, I think he was met in the backfield. One of the defensive linemen almost took the handoff.
Again, the Gray's Credit Jewelers halftime show coming up. Jason Smith, Monty Walker, and Kevin Farr at halftime. And don't forget to join us for that as we let the Yellow Jackets take the break and try to figure some things out. 2:14 and counting in the first half. 26-0 all Carroll at this point. This is Robertson, gets the toss left, trying to find the corner, and he doesn't have anywhere to go.
Well, I'm telling you what, when they put those men in the box, 8 guys, that means they're all right there together, and they all swarm to the football, as there's about 8 guys on the tackle each play.
Yeah, the thing that Carroll is able to do is they're able to play very aggressively on their defense and do that because they feel very confident that their offense is going to do quite well.
Yeah,
and so they'll take all kinds of chances because you'd think you can beat them with a home run ball, right?
Yeah, all they've done is allow 32 yards of total offense from Denison in the first half.
But they're stuffing the Yellow Jacket rushing attack at this point. Man in motion for Denison on 3rd down, and this is Crawley back to pass, has to flush out of the pocket, throws it picked. This might be a touchdown for the Carroll Dragons, and it very likely will be as Will Crawley throws his first interception of the year. It's returned 32 yards for a touchdown, 36 rather. Aaron Morgan, Chase Hargis rather, the man that made the interception, and when he made it, there was nobody that was going to stop him. Will Crawley, the lone man that had a chance, and he made a valiant effort around the 3-yard line, but just couldn't catch up.
That's one of the few mistakes we've seen so far from Will Crawley this season, throwing into quite a few defenders in the middle of the field. And Hargis was right there to pick the ball off, and really he had clear sailing once he had the football because he's got the speed to outrun all the linemen, and that's about the only ones that were chasing him.
Number 29.
Garrett Hartley on for the PAT, and it is really beginning to get away from the Yellow Jackets as a little high snap, but it's down, and Hartley has put another PAT on the board. And I hate to keep going back and bringing this up, but it was 6-0 as we started the second quarter. 6-0.
0.
But a 27-point outburst in the second quarter, and the Carroll Dragons
The ticket number on the
are putting it on cruise control right now against the Yellow Jackets.
Denison Yellow.
It's going to be Garrett Hartley, and he's working the leg out tonight. Robertson gets it 7 yards deep, and he's coming out. He said, boys, go block. He's out to the 10, 15, still going out near the 20, or 17 rather. And they're going to say the knee went down at the 16. Coach
Brought down by number
Coach
31.
Brown might say, Corey,
Adam
let's
Hansen
not bring it out
for
8
the
yards
Dragons.
deep out of the end zone. But Corey said, man, I'm frustrated.
You know, last year, Corey Robertson, all he did was score on just about every kickoff return he had on JV.
First down 10 for the Yellow Jackets from their own 16-yard
It's going to be a
line.
1st and 10 from the 16 for the Yellow Jackets. 58 seconds to go in the half. And this one's all Carroll after a 6-0 first quarter where they had to struggle for 2 field goals. Carroll has exploded and leads 33-0 as we approach the halfway point. This is going to be a handoff. Nowhere to go.
Robertson on the carry.
Robertson on the carry, and he was
Number
met and
34.
rudely introduced to the turf.
And that may be a loss of a yard. They're probably going to mark him about the 15. So
2nd down 11. for
going
the
backwards, and
Yellow
I'll tell you what, Southlake is just doing a number on the offensive line of Denison so far.
Yeah, and that might be the most disappointing aspect of the game so far because, well, the Yellow Jackets knew coming in that they were going to have to get some things going offensively, and they've still been unable to do that. And you got to give their defense credit. They played pretty well in the first quarter, but they've been on the field all night long. Crawley, deep handoff. Robertson, he's heading to the far sideline, and he just can't get around the corner. Could have been a late flag for piling on, but
Aaron Morgan.
Official not going to throw it. Robertson was down on the turf. He's going to set up third down and about 10. He got no gain on the play. And with 1 second to go, that's the final play of the half. Garrett Hartley ready to kick the football away on the Cable One kickoff as we begin the second half, and he's going to bang it. Mr. Robertson, and he's going to lose the handle in the end zone, decides to come out. He's going to try to get the wedge going. He broke a tackle at 15. Look out, 20, and he can't get past those last two guys on the corner. Got out to the 23-yard line. He makes it exciting, but he just couldn't get around the corner. Hops up, and the Yellow Jackets start. First down and 10 from the 23-yard line. Your Institute for Athletic Performance starting lineup for the Yellow Jackets offensively. Thomas Hayes, Nathan Breedlove, Shane Stone, Gary Wetz, and Robbie Thomas up front. Trent Maheda, Vincent Rhodes, your two tights in the two tight set. Jerry Jones and Christian Brown, your receivers. And David Wells, the fullback, in for the injured Scooter Means, and also Corey Robertson. That's your IAP starting lineup. Don't forget the Institute for Athletic Performance. Is Cody McGuirk getting the start as the quarterback. Ball batted up in the air as he nailed his receiver. I believe that was Roger Grant. And Roger Grant very consternated after that play nearly was a flag.
Yeah, Cody McGuirk really threw a rope right at him, threw the ball really hard, showing that arm. And Roger Grant having some words with one of the defenders over there, and Cody, being the leader that he is, quickly came up and corralled Roger Grant, kind of yelled at him a little bit and said, hey, you need to get back in the huddle, young man.
Second and 10. Will Crawley standing on the sidelines. Looks like Cody going to get some experience, as this game has perhaps gotten almost to the point where the Jackets might feel they don't have a chance to come back and win it. And Cody McGuirk intercepted, and this is going to be another touchdown, the second of the night for Chase Hargis. And Cody McGuirk has been intercepted for the sixth time this season.
Well, they went 26 yards on the interception. Cody McGuirk came into the game with 16 completions out of 35 attempts. 5 interceptions make that 6 now. And tough going early on so far in the second half for Cody McGuirk and the Jackets, as Southlake has already scored 39-0 with 11:33 left to go in the third quarter, awaiting the PAT.
Getting ready for the PAT. Don't forget we've got the Jim McClure State Farm trivia question upcoming. Update, Lancaster now losing 21-7 to the Sherman Bearcats. Kind of knew Ronnie Tipp's squad. They would get it going before the night was over, and Hartley is going to kick another extra point. And for the first time this season, the Yellow Jackets have given up 40 points. The score now 42-0 with 11:33 to go in the third quarter. We'll take a timeout. Yellow Jacket football continues on 93.1 FM after this 60-second timeout.
Yellow Jackets at 0.
Yeah, you know, I'm pretty interested to see how the Yellow Jackets play mentally in the second half. You know, obviously at this point you're not going to come back and win this game unless something really crazy happens that we haven't seen so far. As Hartley is going to bang it deep, and Robertson on the Cable One kickoff, 7 yards deep, out again, trying to find a wedge. 20, 25, 30, still going out near the 40, still going 45, 50, Robertson to the 40, 35, to the 30, he's tackled at the 24-yard line. The ball popped free, but the official said down by contact. Corey Robertson just simply ran out of gas as he was weaving through traffic. He was 7 yards deep in the end zone, brought it out, found the wedge, and goes all the way to the Carroll 23-yard line.
Boy, is that young man electrifying or what? What some great moves. He got kind of lost in about their own 45-yard line. I thought he was going to be tackled back there. Somehow came out of the pile like Robert Newhouse used to back in the old Cowboy days. and it would have been the longest kickoff return in school history, but all goes for naught as it's down at the 24-yard line. Great return by Robertson.
Yeah, he just ran out of gas there. This is the handoff, David Wells. Nowhere. Man, he was swarmed and driven backwards. Robertson is still gasping for air.
Let's do an American Bank of Texas scoring drive recap on that last one. This was another quick one for Southlake Carroll. This was an interception of 26 yards by Hargis once again, and that brings our score 40-0. Southlake Carroll on top, 10:48 left to go, third quarter here at Munson Stadium in Denison.
Well, it's a loss of 2, and it'll set up 2nd and 12 from the 25, 10:39 to go in the third. And this is going to be a toss. Robertson, he wants to throw, launches it downfield, and it's going to be Christian Brown as he's interfered with. Yes, 2 flags as Brown turned around for an underthrown ball at the goal line, tried to come back to it. The defenders interfered with him, and it's going to be pass interference against the Carroll Dragons.
Zach Saldi of the Dragons never even saw the football. He just simply was chasing Christian Brown, never saw the ball in the air, and when Christian turned for the ball, Zaldi just tackled him, and the ball hadn't even gotten there yet.
Check down with our Bratcher Funeral Home man. Jason, number 42, is still heaving. Get the oxygen mask for him.
Well, yeah, when you run that far, in actuality, he probably ran almost double the amount of field yardage that he covered by cutting back and forth. He is winded. He's been the man for every down, it seems like, for the Jackets, and I guess we'll let him get tired every once in a while.
You know, we might need to get the oxygen tank for our sideline guy.
For the Yellow Jackets.
Starting to sound like that old cold and allergy stuff really getting the best of him. Good job tonight, Jason. Good job for Corey Robertson. 1st and 10, Denison, as Corey Robertson gets his first pass attempt of the year. He can do a little bit of everything, can't he? This is going to be McGuirk handing it off Robertson, and he's, well, he can't do everything. He's tackled for no gain.
Well, that's their big linebacker there. He's pretty much the stud on defense, Tyler Flynn. Tyler Flynn is a senior, and he's been talked about as the tackle leader and one of the leaders on defense. He came in last year, had just a whole bunch of tackles. I want to say 157, 4 fumble recoveries, and 2 interceptions, and he is a man on defense, a linebacker over there.
Robertson came into the game tonight with over 550 yards of all-purpose yards, and he has certainly added to that total with that big kick return right there. This will be Josh Vaughn in motion, 2nd and 11. Handoff Robertson, heading right, cutting it back inside, spinning his way inside the 10 down to around the 7-yard line. They'll mark it at the 7, and it will set up 3rd down. So the Yellow Jackets want to avoid the shutout, obviously, and have a good chance to do that inside the 10-yard line, but they really would like to spank a touchdown on the board.
Yeah, right now you could probably look for a pass into the end zone somewhere. Well, I don't know. Raymond Smith checking into the game, and he is the long snapper, but he may be playing fullback here. Yeah, here they go.
2 tight power eye set, and this is McGuirk. Toss right, Robertson cutting it inside, nowhere to go.
Boy,
hammered.
He was hammered. He was hammered by the other linebacker over there, and that's Ben Hickson. Ben Hickson is a junior, and he's pretty much a stud over there as well, as all of them go about 6'1", 220.
Well, they're going to give him a yard to the 6, and it's going to be 4th and goal from the 6, and the Yellow Jackets apparently are going to go for it here.
Well, I think Raymond Smith is checking in again, and that normally means, you know, he is the long snapper, but
Denison is going for it on 4th down conversions. The Jackets 4 out of 7 this year. Power eye, 2 tight set. 4th and goal from the 6. They'll shift to the left, and this is McGuirk. Play action, wants to throw, comes back to the right, caught, stick it in the end zone, put it on the scoreboard. Sophomore Josh Vaughn, a 6-yard touchdown pass.
What a catch, what a throw by Cody McGuirk. And sophomore Josh Vaughn takes his 16-size feet into the end zone and puts them on the scoreboard with 8:26 left to go in the third quarter. Brings our score 40-6, awaiting the PAT.
Well, the Jackets get a reason to cheer right there, and Bob Brown says, hey, we're trying to get better, and field goals are not going to do it. Let's see what we can do on 4th down, and they throw into the end zone, and Denison has broken the goose egg. McGuirk on as Farley lines up with the PAT. Low snap. McGuirk got it on the tee, and Farley's kick is good. 8:26 to go, and the home crowd a reason to cheer. 40-7, our new score. Carroll Dragons are rolling, but Denison's on the board. Back in a moment with more Denison High School football. Farley is lining up to kick what could be an onside attempt, as Denison has players to either side of him.
Yeah, he has a group of about 5 young men on each side of him on about a little bit past the hash mark.
Well, we'll see if he'll go through with it, and no, he's going to squib it. And it's going to be a squib kick, going to be taken up around the 17 by an up man, up to the 25, 30, spinning to the 35. That's Luna. And he will go down to the 34-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Carroll Dragons, 8:17 to go in the 3rd. And don't forget, we've got the Jim McClure State Farm trivia question, and I think maybe we've got a question that's going to stump some of our guys that seem to know a lot of answers around here.
What's the guy's name? Bruce Ed Mason. And the other one is
and I know Jim, Bruce is listening.
And Jim Taylor.
And we know Jim's listening.
Yeah,
get your thinking caps on, fellas.
I bet they're ready.
We'll get to that.
Others can win.
That's right.
Not only those two
Even
guys.
Michael Jordan can win.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
This is Watson handing it off. Luna, 35, broke a tackle, 40, foot race, 45, 50. Luna heading to pay dirt. Can they track him down? They're going to do so at the 9. It's going to be Ronnie Powell that stops him from going all the way. It would have been a 66-yard touchdown run for Luna, but Powell hauls him in at the 9. It's a 58-yard run.
Yeah, he simply just ran right up the gut. Got a lot of open blocks from his big offensive line and took it 58 yards later, and now they're setting up, knocking on the door inside the 10-yard line. They're going to mark him at the 8.
4 receivers for the Southlake Carroll Dragons. Luna flanking Wasson in the backfield. 3 receivers to the near side, 1 to the far. Wasson back to pass, going to throw the fade into the end zone, and Hanson catches it out of bounds. It is incomplete. 1st and goal at the 8. It's now 2nd and goal at the 8.
It's a good thing that the ball was kind of floated a little bit long, because Marcus Davis didn't have an idea where the ball was, looked over the wrong shoulder, being his left shoulder, to try to find the ball, and that just caused further separation from him and the receiver. Luckily, the ball was overthrown and out of bounds.
Well, a lot of folks in the Denison area know that the Sherman Bearcats, pretty good football team, and some folks wondering just how good they'll be. Well, we'll get an indication in a couple of weeks, because this same Southlake Carroll Dragon team and the Sherman Bearcats square off in 2 weeks. This is Watson back to pass. Solari spun his man around in the end zone. Touchdown, Southlake Carroll.
Number 9.
Solari's 3rd touchdown of the game from Wasson. We've now got a 46-7 score awaiting the PAT with 7:41 left to go in the 3rd quarter.
I will say this to Coach Todd Dodge. He needs to remember that he's got to play Denison again next year, and a lot of the seniors on the field tonight for him that are romping are not going to be there next year. And there's a lot of kids that are sophomores and juniors for the Yellow Jackets who will be. And Coach Brown has pretty good memory. So at some point you would think that Dodge might call the dogs off. It is now 47-0 after Hartley bangs, 47-7, excuse me, as Hartley bangs it through the uprights. 7:38 to go in the 3rd. We're back in a moment with more Denison High School football. Don't forget, next week the Yellow Jackets will travel to Dallas County to face Dallas Spruce out of the DISD at Forrester Field. And, of course, we'll have the kickoff. We'll have the kickoff at 7 o'clock, and this is going to be the kicker, Garrett Hartley, and he boots it out of bounds. I think his leg's getting tired.
It's a 2nd delay of game kick out of bounds for.
He certainly doesn't want to kick it to number 42, I don't think.
Yeah, I think he's been told about that.
Well, at this point, you start looking for what we had hoped we wouldn't be talking about tonight. You start looking for some moral victories and some things that you can build upon. And, well, I think we saw something from the Yellow Jackets. They have some pride. Mustard had got the goose egg off the board. And I think you can say this. Denison's done fairly well in special teams play tonight. They played pretty well defensively tonight. They just were never able to get it going offensively.
Yeah, Corey Robertson does have 162 return yards on kickoff returns. The bad news is Denison only has 39 total yards of offense, while Carroll 322.
Well, I will say this. Carroll could be the best team that Denison will see all year.
They are ranked 23rd in Class 5A.
Of course, we'll see in a couple of weeks just how good Ronnie Tipp's Bearcats are. McGuirk back in the game as quarterback, steps up as he's pressured. Now he's going to have to run out to the 35 and goes out around the 37-yard line. A gain of about 6 yards for the senior quarterback, who just threw his second touchdown pass a moment ago to a sophomore, Josh Vaughn. We're going to call that young man's name a lot in the next few years. We've already called it a lot.
We sure have. He's a big kid. Told you the story last week about a lot of the seniors were talking to me about Josh Vaughn, saying last year on the freshman team they couldn't believe, he was playing fullback, they couldn't believe how big he was.
Second down and about 3.5. Handoff Robertson. Stutter stepping his way down the line of scrimmage. Looked like he had some room to run. So he's going to pick up 1 yard. And you would think at some point he's going to get that seam he needs, and he's going to break a big one tonight.
There's a spotlight down on the field, wondering what that's about.
I believe that's one of the local TV stations.
Kind of blinding us up here.
You know, that just tells you it's 10 minutes till 10, and we got 7 minutes to go in the third quarter.
Hey, Scott Corbin, if you're listening back at the studio, it's going to be a long post-game show, guys. You're going to be on till, what, 2 in the morning? No, just kidding.
Glad it's him and not me. 3rd and 1, Denison at the 39. A paltry 1 for 8 in third down conversions. Power I, too tight set. McGuirk back to pass, throws. He's got a man caught, some first down catch and more. And it's going to be Howard Jackson inside the 40-yard line all the way down to the 34. The biggest offensive play from scrimmage tonight for the Yellow Jackets.
What a nice pass and catch. Howard Jackson made the catch and made some nice nifty moves over here on the near side hash. Of course, Denison moving left to right on the radio dial. McGuirk really locking in on his receivers now. Howard Jackson picks up a big gain down inside Southlake Carroll territory to the 34-yard line.
Christian Merritt on the stop as Denison comes to the line. 1st and 10 at the Carroll 34-yard line. McGuirk barking signals Josh Vaught in motion behind the line of scrimmage, and this is a handoff to the fullback, bangs his way down to the 30-yard line. And I got to bring this up. We were talking about this before the game over at the Denison student section. There's a pretty interesting sign. It says Christian is hot. Now, either that fella is a very devout Christian like I am, or that might be Christian Brown's girlfriend, you think?
Yeah, we were talking about that at halftime, and Jason Smith even asked a senior boy if he was the guy that wrote it, and he said, of course not, it's not me.
Well,
no indeedly doodly.
2nd and 6, Robertson bouncing outside, 30, lowers the shoulder to the 23, and he's near the first down, think he's got it. That was one of the better runs of the night for Corey Robertson. Let's go down to the sideline. Our Bratcher Funeral Home man himself, Jason. Did you ever find out who did it?
No, we still don't have a clue who did it. A bunch of the girls are saying they don't really know, but they're smiling. And so I think it's some of the girls on student council doing to add a little bit of maybe just a spark of student pride, student support here tonight.
You know, I'm not sure if I were Christian Brown, if I'd be happy or embarrassed, you know, that there's a sign like that.
I'm sure he'll be talking about it Monday.
I'm sure he will be. 3 receivers set for the Jackets. New set of downs at the 24, and everybody jumped for Denison. I think there might have been one guy, the center, Gary Wetz, who didn't jump on that one.
You know, I think, Jason, we might just go up and put a sign down here next week that says Lynn is hot. How about that? What do you think about that?
Well, I will say this.
I'm all about it.
There's one.
But I'm not writing it.
Never mind. We digress. 1st and 15 from the 28. Let's get off of that.
I just want to see if Lynn will actually get embarrassed. Like he said, you know, I want to see him get embarrassed a little bit. Lynn is hot.
Well, you know, normally in the press box I am because I sweat so much and there's no air conditioning in this box. But a beautiful fall evening tonight off. Illegal procedure marked against the Yellow Jackets. 5-yard penalty and a timeout called by Denison. 1st and 15 from the 28. 4:59 to go in the third. 47-7. Carroll back in a moment. We are back, and 4:59 to go in the third. 47-7. It's our score here at Munson Stadium. We'll update you on a few scores around the area and around District 11-4A. Cody McGuirk throws for Trent Mahana. the ball nearly picked off. That would not have been good.
That was a quick hitter. Looked like Cody was throwing the pass, and Trent Mahana didn't turn around long enough, or quick enough.
Not only that, Justin Asher stepped in front of the ball and had pay dirt in front of him if he holds on to it.
Yeah, and had he not even got in there, the ball probably would have hit Mahana right in the back of the head.
So 2nd and 15 from the 28. Denison trying to muster another offensive touchdown.
2nd down 15 for the Jackets.
5 receivers set for the Yellow Jackets. 3 to the left, 2 to the right for Cody McGuirk. 2nd and 15. Somebody might have jumped for Carroll, and if they did not, or if they did, it was probably number 85, Adam Boydston, because he nailed McGuirk in the backfield for an 8-yard loss.
He was there so quick. Looked like he took about a 10-yard head start because he got to Cody so quick. But McGuirk is going to take a big loss. It's going to be 3rd and a country mile. Call it 3rd and 21.
What Todd Dodge did right there is his troops, they just said, okay, line 5 guys up.
Yeah,
we're going to get to your quarterback.
Yeah, he still kept everybody in the box. He didn't move them out. And that just
you got to get rid of the football real fast.
3rd down 21 for the Yellow Jackets.
3rd and 21 from the 34. As McGuirk is going to turn, tosses to Hines, and Hines can't hold on to the ball.
Loose ball on the field.
And Southlake Carroll says they've got it, and they do. So the Denison offensive threat goes for naught. I believe that's the 3rd fumble of the season for Anthony Hines. And that is going to snuff out the Yellow Jackets scoring opportunity. The ball, in all fairness, really wasn't clean, was it?
No, it wasn't. He was trying to run a reverse, what the Jackets were, and pitched it out to Hines. And I think the pitch might have been a little bit high. I'll give Hines a little bit of credit there. But the ball simply never was tucked in from Hines, and he was going to try to hand it off before he even got the football. So
kind of looked like it was roll up the front side of his shoulder pads, and it was starting to go down the back side.
It was ugly from the beginning.
Wasson still in the ball game with a 47-7 lead. 3:58 to go in the 3rd. Dodge and company signaling their intentions, and Wasson with Luna flanking him in the shotgun. Back to pass. Pressure comes in his face. Throws a strike complete to the 38-yard line, and that is Hansen on the reception.
Nice pass by Wasson again. He just threw a bullet on a post pattern, and well, I tell you what, their passing game is very sharp.
Well, the most yards that have ever been thrown against a Yellow Jacket team, unfortunately, I was in the booth that night as well. Marty Criswell's swan song in '91, a year that Denison actually ended up winning a district championship. We'll talk about that in a moment as they hand it off to a new tailback. Lots of room to run before he's upended. And the new back in the backfield, Nathan Alexander, the senior running back. And he's got a first down with plenty to spare. And that night, Max Nocky, a name that some North Texas football fans certainly might remember, went on to start TCU. But he first started at McKinney. And, well, it's going to be just short of the first down. I gave him more credit than the official did. Max Nocky threw for 507 that night, and we're going to get an update on Wasson in just a little while. He is starting to climb up the stat book. 250, that's all he's got. But he's fixing to add more here. He throws, caught, touchdown, Solari. Add 28 more, make it 278 yards passing for Casey Wasson.
And that's the 4th touchdown tonight from Solari, Trey Solari, who came in with 2 touchdowns on the season, 10 catches for 136 yards. Add 4 to that, so now he's the Carroll team leader with 6 touchdowns on the season over Andrew Hansen, who has 4.
You know, I know it sounds like one of those if, ands, and buts. You know, if they were all candy and nuts, we'd all have a Merry Christmas things, but it was 6-0 when we started the second quarter. Hartley is on, and oh, goodness, did he bang that one. That extra point would have been a 60-yard field goal. It's good, 54-7, 2:53 to go in the 3rd, and Carroll Dragons are going to win another one at the expense of Denison. Back in a moment with more Yellow Jacket football. It's a record-setting night on the Cable One kickoff as this kick is going to be spun into the end zone, and I believe Anthony Hyde's going to carry it out. 10, 15, look out to the 30. He's got room to run. 35, 40, 45, to the 50, and tackle at the 48. The kicker got him.
return finally brought down by number
Another great
29.
return. This time Anthony Hines was the man. Last time Corey Robertson has been doing it all night. But Hines made a move at the 50-yard line, about the 45-yard line that juked one of the players for the Southlake Carroll, and that was Brady Simonak. And Hines held on to the football, crossed the 50, Denison now into Carroll territory with 48 yards to go to pay dirt.
Yeah, I said the kicker got him. It wasn't the kicker, of course, but boy, the return game has worked tonight for Denison. Not much else has offensively. The Carroll Dragons have got it all going on all cylinders. This is a handoff, Robertson, and he's tripped up at the 43-yard line. Nice gain of about 6 yards. He's starting to amass a few numbers.
Here's some numbers for you. The most points ever scored against Bob Brown as a Denison head coach is 56, and that was by Waxahachie in the 1992 playoff drive. Right now, Southlake Carroll 2 points away from that 56 as they lead 54-7 with 2:12 left to go here in the third quarter.
2nd down and 4. This game has gone on forever. 2nd and 4 from the 42, and this is going to be a handoff. Robertson heading right and corralled from behind around the 40-yard line. Pickup of 2.5, maybe 3 yards.
That was a nice play right there from Travis Stacy. The defensive lineman, the sophomore, came in to make a nice play on Chris Robertson.
Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification on the Next Media Radio Network.
Hey, you said Corey. You said Chris Robertson. Hey.
Third down and short. Cody McGuirk sees something he doesn't like. We'll take a timeout. 54-7. Carroll in the lead. Back in a moment with more Denison High School football. Third down and 2 yards to go from the 40. Power eye, too tight set. Robertson dots the power eye. McGuirk, the quarterback. Denison down, and this is a handoff. Robertson trying to bounce outside, gets to the 35 and has the first down and more as he picked up about 5 yards. Robertson starting to get a little bit of yardage in the rushing department. We'll get an update momentarily. And that, by the way, to our fans listening at home, no, it was not a flashback. It is Corey Robertson.
Yeah, as soon as I said that, I just want to grab those words back. I knew I said Chris Robertson. What I meant, obviously, was Corey. And it also helps out Corey Robertson is now, as Southlake Carroll has put in their backup defense in. So some of the studs over there, like the linebackers, Tyler Flynn is out of the ball game. He's the all-world middle linebacker. So kind of makes it a little easier on the offense a little bit.
Sherman goes to 3-0 with a 28-7 win over Lancaster. This is flags everywhere before this one can get underway. Bearcats a little nervous at halftime, 7-all tie with the Lancaster Tigers. You know, Bob Sullins and I were talking last night, and we're going to get to our Jim McClure State Farm trivia question here momentarily, but someday, you know, this one's probably going to, this one may end tomorrow, so who knows, maybe we'll get to it tomorrow. But pretty interesting trivia question for the Sherman folks. The last time Sherman played a Tiger team in the regular season, you got to go all the way back to 1985 against Irving. There's Tigers everywhere in Texas. This is McGuirk back to pass. He better get rid of it. Pressure was coming, and he did so. I think is coming hard on his backside was Adam Boydston. It's incomplete. Sets up 2nd down and long.
Yeah, you heard Adam Boydston's feet coming a few plays earlier when he nailed him in the backfield for a big loss. And I think he wisened up a little bit and got rid of the football there.
You ever seen a defensive player salivating as he's chasing the quarterback down? That is the final play of the third quarter. We're going to the fourth quarter. It is not going to be jacket quarter tonight. Denison hopes to make some noise, however. We'll come back for the final stanza in just a moment. You're listening to Denison High School football.
Down 15 for the Yellow Jackets.
We'll give you a few scoring updates in a moment as we begin the fourth quarter. Lynn Burkhead and company. And this is going to be a deep handoff. Robertson heading right, cutting it back inside. He's got a seam and picked up about 13 yards. It was 2nd and 15. It's going to be 3rd down and about 3. Well, they're going to say, uh-oh. He is slow to get up. All right,
these two teams have combined for how many playoff appearances in school history? They're almost identical numbers. We told you earlier in the postgame show, if you remember, that 5 hours ago. But we're looking for the number of total playoff appearances of these two teams combined.
Look out. This is going to be Hines. He nearly fumbled. He's got it to the 15, 10-5. Stick it in the end zone. Put it on the scoreboard while Monty was giving the trivia question. McGuirk tossed it way upstairs. Hines had to go up to get it. Couldn't get it. He took a fortuitous bounce into his hand. He hit the sideline, found the block back inside, and sprinted to the end zone.
Nice run there by Anthony Hines. Made a couple of moves down inside the 20-yard line to break free back towards the middle of the field.
29-yard touchdown run by Anthony Hines, and I believe that's his first of the season rushing. That is. Of course, he had a touchdown pass last week out at Memorial Stadium, and this is going to be Farley. His PAT looks good, and it is. 11:01 to go in the game. 54-14. Denison against the reserves, where Carroll gets another touchdown. Hines from 28 yards out. Back in a moment with more Denison High School football. Denison lining up in the onside formation. Farley's going to squib kick it down the field on the Cable One kickoff to the 21 and up man up to the 30, 35, and pinballing down to around the 34-yard line. 54-14 is our score. We've got a few scores to update you on. Sherman, a final 28-7. The Bearcats moved to 3-0 in the season, and of course they will be playing Southlake Carroll in what could be a barn burner in a couple of weeks. Longview Pine Tree 35-7 over Sulphur Springs. Correct me if I'm wrong. Will that be Springs' first loss of the year? I believe that's correct. Paris 28-19 over Athens, and Pottsboro tonight. Congratulations to the Cardinals. 22-0 victory over Lake Dallas. We're trying to get a bottom score for you. Of course, a near tragedy last week, and we'll get to that in just a moment.
Be sure and stay tuned after the game. We will have the Napa and North Texas Nissan Extra Point Show brought to you with your host, Scott Corbin.
Yeah, and it might end about 1:30 in the morning the way this one's going. Handoff to Alexander, the running back. Nathan Alexander got a new quarterback in as we get underway in the fourth quarter with the first Carroll possession, and it'll be a pickup of about 3 yards. It said a near tragedy last week. If you don't know, the Bonham High School football team, on their way back after defeating Lake Dallas, was involved in a horrific accident. And there was actually, I believe, a fatality in that accident. I think is what I was told by some of the people in Bonham. 2 men in a truck, a collision between the school bus and the truck, and this is going to be a busted play as the quarterback keeps it, and looks like he may have a first down. The long and the short of it was there were several Bonham players that were actually care flighted away from the scene as precautionary measures. But it's our understanding that the worst injury sustained was actually a broken arm by one of the coaches and a concussion by one of the players. And fortunately, after such a horrific moment, all of the players and coaches were safe for the Bonham Purple Warriors. What a scary moment last week in Collin County.
Yeah, very scary. I believe it happened in Melissa. We were coming back home from Wichita Falls at the Voodoo Palace when we got word on our way back of the unfortunate accident, and hopefully everything's okay. A lot of healing going on in Bonham now.
Yes, scary moment. One that I'm sure shook up a lot of young men and a lot of coaches. This is a handoff to Alexander. Picks up 5, maybe 6 yards up the middle. And it'll be second down and about 4 yards to go for the Carroll Dragons. 9:32 to go in the game. And Denison going to fall to 2-2 on the year. Carroll going to improve to 3-0 on the year. The Yellow Jackets will face Spruce next week in the non-district finale in the 2002 campaign. Of course, Denison with the off week before heading into District 11 for a play. Alexander on the handoff, and he picks up a half yard, and that'll set up third down and short. Jackets swarming.
Nice job by Raymond Smith, the middle linebacker, coming up there to make the stop. Hit him right at the line of scrimmage, but I think he actually gained a yard maybe. But a nice job there by the inside senior linebacker.
Don't forget tomorrow morning, 7:30, 8:30, and 9:30 right here on 93.1 FM, KMKT. Mr. Scott Corbin himself, the Red River High School football update right here on Katy Country. Again, 7:30, 8:30, and 9:30. It's the Red River High School football update. And don't forget, we've got the Digital Solutions recap of the game coming up at the conclusion of the fourth quarter. Lots of Carroll highlights, a few Yellow Jacket highlights, and the Carroll Dragons have another first down as Alexander took the handoff and plowed forward for 4 yards. with 8:20 to go in the ball game.
They're just chewing up clock now, trying to get this game over with as they have that hefty lead, 54-14. Carroll does over Denison. 8:20 left to go now as they move the chains again and start marching towards that end zone. They're 2 points away, of course, from that record that we were talking about, that Bob Brown has given up 56 points by Waxahachie. That's the most ever by Bob Brown, by a Bob Brown Denison coach team. That was back in 1992 in the playoff run. Looking to keep them off the board here as they've got 54.
And this is a busted play. Quarterback Vincent Rhodes had him and couldn't hang on to him, but everybody else showed up to finish it off as Ryan Summers goes down in a heap. It's a loss of about 4 on the play. Yeah, that loss in 92, I was actually in the booth for that one as well at Texas Stadium, and Waxahachie went on, of course, to run away with the state championship that year and a 16-0 playoff run that year. The Indians with a great football team that year, and they took out a lot of frustration. Some Denison fans might remember a 49-0 thrashing that the Jackets put on the Waxahachie Indians. Aaron Jackson scored 7 touchdowns in that playoff game back in 1985, and I think the Indians had a long memory themselves.
Well, let's hope the Jackets have a long memory about Southlake Carroll.
Yes, indeed. 2nd down and 14 at the 47, and this is a handoff. Alexander hit at the line of scrimmage, and he might have gotten a half yard after it's all said and done, but a swarm of black jerseys to the football, including number 89, Mr. Vincent Rhodes.
The Jacket defense has really kind of played well against the second-team unit here. Of course, the Jackets have some second-teamers in there as well. I believe Robbie Thomas is in there on the defensive line. I have to check that. And there's some other guys in there that normally aren't on defense. I believe, no, that's Jeremy Grimes as the safety position.
3rd and 12 from the Denison 45, and this will be Summer from the shotgun. Back to pass, he'll throw, and it's complete for a first down. Just a little curl-in route, and Chase Daniels hauls it in and picks up the first down.
Raymond Smith and Marcus Davis combine on the tackle at the 30-yard line. That will move the chains again. And this clock winding down at 6:20, and they'll start the clock here in a moment. And now it is winding, and we've got the 54-14 score here at Munson Stadium.
Well, some good numbers for Corey Robertson tonight. He, I think you can call it, he's good. How about 222 yards? That's all-purpose yards tonight for the sophomore standout, but only 60 of them rushing on the ground. 162 yards in kick returns, however. This is going to be Summer, hands it off Alexander, and he is plowed to the turf after a short gain. Boy, the Jackets were all over him, including a new linebacker in there. How about Mr. Will Crawley in at the linebacking spot?
Crawley checks in. It's the first time we've seen him in the game, and I thought that was Grimes out there a while ago. It was not. He's in at the safety position, Will Crawley is.
2nd and 8 from the 29, new running back into the ball game for the Carroll Dragons, Nolan Halford. And it'll be 2nd down and about 8 from the 29, 54-14. Denison trying to hold the Dragons off the board here in the 4th quarter, and this is a handoff to Halford, and he gets about 3 yards. 3rd down and about 5 coming up as he went up the middle. 5, 10, and counting in the ball game. Don't forget, we've got the extra point coming up with Scott Corbin somewhere in the next 30 minutes.
Well, I think now the way the clock's winding down now, this game will probably be over about 10:30 or so, and we'll try to get Scott into that show here pretty soon with all the scores of all the area teams and all the area games going on. Pottsboro, of course, one of those, and they got a big win, and Scott will tell you all about that in the postgame, the Extra Point Show, sponsored by Napa and North Texas Nissan.
Summer in the shotgun, and movement on the offensive line of the Carroll Dragons with 4:33 to go, and flags will fly everywhere, and they will have to back up. So 3rd and 6 will be 3rd and 11 from the 32-yard line now. Don't forget, next week, Dallas Spruce up next for the Jackets, and we'll, of course, be there, have every snap for you. 7 o'clock, the countdown to kickoff, and 7:30, the actual kick from Dallas, Texas. 414 total yards for Carroll, and Denison getting over the 100-yard mark, the 120 total yards of offense now for Denison.
And the defense actually has been out there on the field a long time now. This may be the longest drive of the year against for an opponent. This is the 12th play, actually.
And Summers going to hand it off to Halford. His running back heads up the middle, tries to squirt left, and finds a bunch of black jerseys. After a short gain, he'll get to the 29. And it will be 4th down, and we'll see if they bring in the kicking team or they decide to go for it here.
I see the kicker coming on the field, and we'll probably see Mr. Hartley boot it through or give it a valiant effort anyway.
Well, actually, Summer back on the field. Nope, they're gonna go for it here. They'll line up in an I formation. That's something we haven't seen much tonight. And Summer, the quarterback, turns, tosses to Alexander, heading right, trying to get to the corner, and he does so to the 20 and knocked out of bounds around the 15. That's a first down.
That keeps the drive going and keeps the clock going. 3:21 and rolling. Jeremy Grimes, this guy, pushed him out of bounds at the 15-yard line, and now they've got the running game going, Lynn.
Yeah, they do. And Alexander had quite a head of steam up as he got around the right corner. And Denison just trying to keep Carroll off the board here again in the 4th quarter. 1st and 10 from the 15. Alexander, the I back. Offset I, receivers either side for Summer. The new quarterback, handoff Alexander, and Vincent Rhodes said no, sir. Grabbed him from behind and almost took him backwards.
Nice play by Vincent Rhodes, the defensive tackle. He's been around a long time. You think he's a senior, but he's not. He's a junior. One of those big kids up there. Future is bright for the Jackets next year as well. Of course, Rhodes, it's interesting. He's had that cast on all year, and it seems to be a freshly taped cast each week. I don't know what's going on there.
8 minutes plus on this drive for the Carroll Dragons. 2:45 and counting in the 4th quarter. 54-14. The Dragons in the lead, and Summer, the quarterback, is checking with the sidelines, going to turn, hands it off to the fullback, and he's going to rumble ahead for 2 or 3 tough yards on 2nd and 10. And the clock will continue to roll at 2:28. Denison just right now trying to keep Carroll off the board. I don't think anybody knows on the sidelines, except perhaps Coach Bob Brown, that 56 points, the most ever scored against him in his career at Denison. And frankly, I'm not sure that he cares all that much at this point in a loss like this.
Well, I think Coach Brown is probably ready to view the tape and learn from this game and let his kids learn from this experience.
3rd and 8, and Summer's going to turn, pitches to Alexander, and Alexander's got nowhere to go. Great job on the corner by Brandon Hubert. Stood him up, made him turn back inside and held on to some jersey, and the rest of the posse came and finished him off.
Yeah, the Hubert brothers playing those great outside linebacker positions. Both of them have had wonderful seasons so far, and that was a really nice play, turning the running back inside and making him cut it up in.
Ryan Summers had a pretty good game a couple of weeks ago in the second half, 6 of 10 for two touchdowns for 127 yards in the second half in the big win over Irving as Southlake rolled 35-10 in their first game of the season. And he's been very workmanlike in his backup role here in the second half. He's going to turn, hands it off Alexander, bangs his way forward, and on 4th down and 9, Denison's defense will hold with $1:12 to go in the game. And Cody McGuirk will have Robertson behind him on 1st and 10 from the 12-yard line. Hands it off to Robertson. Robertson trying to weave his way. Actually, that's Hines, and he's got room to run out to the 15, 20, 25, 30, still going to the 40, and tackled at the 50-yard line. A late flag as Anthony Hines showing a burst of speed.
Flag on the field.
There is a flag on the play, and we'll check that, but that is a 38-yard run for Hines.
Some of us are a little apparel challenged, aren't we? McQuirk back to pass. Lots of pressure, steps up, fires. Jerry Jones has caught it, nearly a first down, out to the 48. Now the official's going to wave it off and say he didn't hold on to it. I sure thought he did.
Well, he was hit immediately as soon as he caught the football, or I say maybe he didn't catch the football, but it was one of those big Carroll Dragons really punched him to the turf. Justin Asher was the guy right there who really laid the pop on him, and they're going to mark it incomplete.
Well, 39 seconds remaining, and what is going to be a Carroll runaway win, 54-14. And again, don't forget, we started the second quarter of this game, Monty. It was 6-0.